Students get weather wrong all the time. And that annoys me because I'm an impatient and terrible person. Students often think that weather is like if, but it's not. Instead, if is like weather. Let me explain. English is annoying because often one word can have more than one meaning. For example, if. We can use if to introduce the condition clause of a conditional sentence. For example, if I study, I will pass the exam. Great example, right? We've never heard that one before. But we can also use if to talk about two alternative situations. And this is not the same as the conditional if. It's completely different. In fact, if here is another way of saying whether. And whether never copies if to make a conditional sentence. Are you feeling confused after that? Because I kind of am a little bit too. So let's talk about whether you know whether. We use whether when we are talking about two alternatives. And yes, just two. Let's have a look. This commonly occurs after certain verbs. So instead of trying to learn some complex grammar rules, let's have a look at the verbs that whether is often collocated with. I am deciding whether to go to the party. I am wondering whether to invite her out on a date. I am thinking about whether to buy a new phone or save my money. Oh, I don't know whether to tell him. So, these verbs are commonly found with whether when we are trying to decide which is the best decision to take out of two possible options. Notice that after whether, we are using to plus the infinitive. We can use these structures if the subject is the same in both clauses. And this is one of the ways that whether is completely different to if. We cannot say if plus to plus infinitive, but we can say whether plus to plus infinitive. However, sometimes we might want to express an idea in which the subject is different in each clause, and oh my god, what do we do then? I am trying to decide whether you should take the C1 advanced exam. I wonder whether he will be there. I am thinking about whether the weather will be appropriate for swimming. I don't know whether they like me. In all of these examples, the whether clause is completely normal with a subject and a verb. And in all of these examples, we can replace whether with if. In fact, this is actually more common in spoken English, simply because if is much easier to say than whether. I'm trying to decide if you should take the C1 advanced exam or not. I'm trying to decide whether you should take the C1 advanced exam or not. See, it's easier to say if. I'm trying to decide if. I'm trying to decide whether. Ugh, that's annoying. I don't like it. My mouth is saying, Toby, stop saying whether and start saying if, for goodness sake. But the point is that this is not a conditional if. No, 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 it's completely different. It has nothing in common with the conditional if. No. So basically, if you always want to be right, always use whether when you're talking about two possible alternatives, and always use if you're saying or writing a conditional. Whether is also used in reported questions, when there is not a question word like what, when, where, why, whose, how. For example, do you watch Smash English every day? Well, the answer to this question is either a yes or a no. We're talking about two possible alternatives. So this means we can use whether. He asked me whether I watched Smash English every day. Now, to make things even more confusing, let's take a look at some conditionals. Because remember, again, we can never use whether in conditionals. We gotta use if. And it's a different type of if. It's a conditional if. It's not the if that we use when we're talking about two different possibilities. Yes? Yes. So, our conditionals are: I will go if you go. I will play football if the weather is nice. He is angry if I am late. So, what happens if we replace if with whether? Well, we completely change the meaning. We take a conditional and we turn it into a non-conditional. In fact, we're kind of turning it into the opposite of a conditional. Let's take a look. I will go, whether you go or not. I will play football, whether the weather is nice or not. He is angry, whether I am late or not. Here, the expression whether or not means the condition is not important, and that's a really big difference in meaning. I will go whether you go or not means I will go if you go, and I will go if you don't go. I will play football whether the weather is nice or not means I will play football if the weather is nice, and I will play football if the weather is not nice. He is angry whether I am late or not means he is angry if I am late, and also he is angry if I am not late, because he's just an angry, terrible person. So again, whether is not the same as if. And I hope this has cleared things up, because seriously, people get this wrong all the time and it drives me crazy. So hopefully you won't. Leave some comments down below with some examples. Let's see if you've learned something. If you haven't, then I failed as a teacher. It's not your fault, it's completely mine. And with that, we are finished. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment down below. My name is Toby, and this was Smash English.